Today we're going to look at one of the most epic chord progressions of all time.
You can find this in Green Day, Aerosmith, Oasis, all over Baroque music, over folk, American, Procol Harum, classic rock, hip hop.
And the good thing about this progression is it's completely tonal, so it's in one key center only.
On our first year training video, we talk about the two most important pop progressions, the 1-5-6-4 and the 6-4-1-5, that are kind of like the most common commercial music progressions nowadays. And the Romanesca that we're going to talk about is basically an extension on that. It's basically a longer progression that utilizes basically the same chords with the exception of the 3 chord that's kind of new to the scene. So you're probably very familiar with Pachelbel's Canon if you've been to any weddings, you know. So the Romanesca starts with the 1 chord, go to the 5, goes to the 6, goes to the 3, 4, 1, 4, and 5. So here we start with our tonic chord that feels really good and really safe. We put it into motion, into a journey with the 5 chord. We enter the darkness of the 6 chord, and then when you go to the 3 chord, it's even sadder than sad. Look, the 6 and then the 3.
We're in the depths of despair here.
Exactly. What do you need after the depth of despair?
Some hope.
You need hope. The chord of hope is the 4 chord. And then you get home. We're back home. And then just to give a little more motion, normally you hear the 4 and the 5 to give you a little uplifting vibe.
So it's like an entire ecosystem in one chord progression.
It's like microcosmos of emotional manipulation. So let me write this progression down so you can actually see how it looks. Now, one variation that I see it all the time is a little bit of a deceptive cadence where this chord is replaced by this chord, just by an E major. And our ears would expect the next chord to be an A minor, to resolve on an A minor, but this doesn't happen. You get sent back to F. That's what happens in the Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger, or Aerosmith's Crying. You have an E major going to F instead of E minor. And it creates a little bit of a, I don't know, surprising vibe. You hear the difference when I play with E major?
It changes the character of it because you're not in the depths of despair. You're kind of like shaken out of your comfort zone. I like it better, actually.
Now, the question is, how do you practice that? How do you memorize that? It's such a common cliche, but the interesting thing is, historically, this is a progression that started to be used during the Baroque period. And that's a time when a practice called Partimento became really popular in Italian schools. They would teach people music through these things called Partimento, where you would learn specific bass lines or specific chord progressions, and then you would learn how to harmonize them by improvising over them. So composers would learn all these clichés, these harmonic clichés, that were really, really important. So if you listen to like even late Baroque or early classical music, like Mozart's music, you're gonna see that he uses tons of those. And each harmonic progression has a specific name. They would use those and people would recognize by their name. They'll say, oh, this is a Romanesca. Oh, this is a Fonte. Oh, this is a Monte. Oh, this is a Lament. Or this is whatever. They would have names for everything. So I think we still use patterns. We still use those known progressions. And it's really important to know how to recognize them.
Yeah, so in order to learn these, it's probably easiest to start by hearing the bass.
One thing that happens to the bass line is we can learn the bass line the way it is, which is how the Pachelbel canon basically start. But then, with time, composers also started inverting those chords to make the bass line a little smoother. So I would recommend that we all learn this progression in 3 different ways.
If each chord is a triad, then each inversion just means one of the notes is turned into the bass note.
So here's our first example where I'm starting. This is something great for you to practice on piano or, you know, whatever instrument you play. Notice my bottom note. I also recommend singing the top line and seeing what melody does it form. Tim, can you sing the top line here?
Da 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 da.
Nice.
What do you think?
Now, great. Can you sing the middle one now?
Da 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 da.
Oh, that's basically a scale.
Are you proud of
right?
me?
Very proud. One thing you can do is to rewrite those chords in all the different types of inversions that you can.
Or if you have two best friends, you can all sing it.
They have to be best friends to sing Romanesca with
You
you.
have to sing it with best friends.
Otherwise, they'll be former best friends.
Actually, maybe if you sing it with acquaintances, they become best friends.
I was in a train going from Madrid to Barcelona, and with an orchestra, and I was studying some canons by this amazing Italian composer called Caldara from the 18th century. And then I found a few friends, and we went to one of the carts in the train, like the cafeteria cart, and we started singing one of the Caldara canons. And then immediately, like 5 other people came, and we started all singing this canon together. And after a while, there were like 55 people in the cart all singing together. It's one of the most fun things I've ever done. Here's the same thing. So I just rearranged the notes that you see here. I rearranged them here. Okay? Same exact notes. They're just inverted. So one thing I recommend is singing them as arpeggios with our voice. It's easy to play on the instrument, you know. But it's not that easy sometimes to sing those as arpeggios. Can you try, Tim?
Which one?
Yeah. Exactly.
Ooh.
So you see that the bottom line is kind of hard because there's a big jump here. And then it stays the same, and then a big jump here. It's always harder to sing jumps. Try this one. This is going to be easy. Now this time pay attention on the melody of the descending scale that the bass note creates. Exactly. Exactly.
I like that.
Good. So this is an excellent thing for you to do really fast, like you can even feel like you're a little Bobby McFerrin, you know.
And the real pro musician move is to memorize these and then just be singing them when you're walking down the block or on the subway or whatever you're doing. Like, I do think that's like an underrated thing that a lot of musicians do. Is like you learn a new progression or new skill and then you're just like running it in your head all the time until you've got it down so much that it's internalized.
And singing chords, singing arpeggiated chords with inversions is an extremely important skill to have. It truly, truly helps ear training. You'd be surprised. The other thing that really helps is composing something using this progression. Write your own version, your own melody. Try to do something different than the Pachelbel canon. Try to add your own take to it. You know, we're gonna leave on the description a little playlist I made with like hundreds of songs that contain this exact progression for you to check it out, and then just try playing and then composing your own. See what comes up.
Yeah, and if you hate this chord progression, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, are there other chord progressions that you like practicing? I have a few other in mind a few others that I want to bring to videos here. But I would love to hear from you if there's some chord progressions that have really helped your training journey.
And until next time.
Take care.